You are about to get exactly what you want. The promotion, the relationship, the breakthrough you have been working toward for months, and then almost on cue, you destroy it. You pick a fight, you miss the deadline, you sabotage the interview. Your brain is actively working against your own success. And the worst part, you do not even realize it is happening. This is not weakness. This is not laziness. This is a deeply wired survival mechanism that has been running in the background of your mind since childhood. Survival, not success. Your brain was never designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you alive. And to your ancient nervous system, familiar suffering feels infinitely safer than unfamiliar happiness. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the most destructive pattern in human psychology. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why you keep destroying the things you want most, and more importantly, how to finally stop. Here is something that will disturb you. Your brain does not want what is best for you. It wants what is familiar. Psychologists call this the familiarity bias, and it is one of the most powerful forces shaping your entire life. Think about it. Why do people who grew up in chaotic households keep choosing chaotic partners? Why do people who were told they were not good enough keep finding bosses who treat them the same way? People have a need to feel that the world is predictable and controllable, even when that means predicting negative outcomes. Your brain runs on prediction. It builds a model of reality based on your earliest experiences, and then it spends the rest of your life trying to confirm that model. If your model says you are not worthy of success, every opportunity that contradicts that belief becomes a threat, not a logical threat, a neurological one. Your amygdala fires, your cortisol spikes. Your body enters a stress response, not because something bad is happening, but because something good is happening that does not match your internal map. Mismatch. And when your nervous system detects a mismatch between your identity and your reality, it does everything in its power to close that gap, usually by destroying the reality. But this is only the beginning, because what drives this pattern goes much deeper than you think. Psychotherapist Gay Hendricks spent decades studying high achievers who mysteriously fell apart at the peak of their success. Athletes who got injured right before the championship. Entrepreneurs who imploded their companies right after the biggest deal. Couples who started fighting the moment the relationship got truly intimate. He called it the upper limit problem. Each of us has an internal thermostat for how much success we will allow ourselves. And when life pushes you above that thermostat setting, your unconscious mind pulls you back down. It looks like picking a fight with your partner after a great day. It looks like getting sick right before a major opportunity. It looks like suddenly feeling anxious or depressed when everything in your life is actually going well. You go up, your brain panics, and it pulls you back down. The ceiling is not set by your talent or your effort. It is set by what you believe you deserve. And that belief was installed long before you had any say in the matter. If you are recognizing this pattern in yourself right now, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring the depths of your psyche with me. Because what comes next explains exactly where that thermostat was set, and the answer might shock you. Between the ages of 0 and 7, your brain was essentially a sponge operating in theta brainwave state, the same state used in hypnosis. During those years, you were not analyzing the world, you were downloading it. Every interaction with your parents, every emotional tone in the household, every moment of praise or criticism was being written directly into your subconscious as code. Downloaded, not chosen. If love in your household came with conditions, you learned that you must perform to be worthy. If success was met with jealousy or criticism, you learned that achievement creates danger. If your parents were struggling financially, you may have absorbed the belief that money creates problems. These are not memories you can recall. They are operating instructions running beneath your awareness. Programs you never agreed to are controlling your adult life. Neuroscientist Bruce Lipton estimates that 95% of your daily behavior is driven by these subconscious programs. You think you are making conscious choices, but you are actually running a script that was written by a 5-year-old version of you, interpreting the world with a 5-year-old's understanding. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man. And this childhood programming creates something even more insidious, something psychologists call your core wound. Every self-defeating pattern you have can be traced back to a single belief about yourself. Psychologists call it the core wound, and it typically falls into one of 4 categories. 1, I am not enough. 2, I am not worthy of love. 3. I am not safe. 4. I do not belong. One of these statements just hit you harder than the others. That is your core wound speaking. Here is what makes it so destructive. Your core wound does not just sit there passively. It actively seeks confirmation. If your wound is I am not enough, you will unconsciously create situations that prove it. You will procrastinate so you can tell yourself you failed because you did not try hard enough. You will set impossible standards so you always fall short. You will compare yourself to people who are further ahead so you can feel inadequate. You are not failing because you are broken, you are failing because your wound needs to be right. This is what Freud called the repetition compulsion, the unconscious drive to recreate painful situations from the past. Not because you enjoy pain, but because your nervous system finds it familiar. Familiar pain over unknown joy. And familiar to your brain always equals safe. But this wound does not just affect your actions. It hijacks your identity, which is where things get truly dangerous. Your brain has a file on you. It is called your self-concept, and it is the single most powerful force governing your behavior. Your self-concept is the story you tell yourself about who you are, and your brain will fight to the death to keep that story consistent. This is called cognitive dissonance, and it explains one of the strangest phenomena in psychology. When reality contradicts your identity, your brain does not update the identity. It rejects the reality. Rejection. Watch how this plays out. Someone with a self-concept of I am bad with money wins the lottery. Within 5 years, 70% of lottery winners are broke. Someone with a self-concept of I am unlovable enters a healthy relationship. They push the person away, cheat, or create drama until the relationship matches their internal story. The success is real, the money is real, the love is real. But because it does not match the internal file, the brain treats it as an error that needs to be corrected. We do not see things as they are, we see things as we are. You are not living in reality. You are living inside a story your brain wrote about you years ago, and every time life tries to give you a better chapter, your brain edits it out. But there is a specific mechanism your brain uses to do this editing, and understanding it changes everything. There is a voice inside your head that speaks every time you get close to success. It says things like, who do you think you are? This is not going to last. You do not deserve this. You are going to fail and everyone will see. Psychologist Hal Stone called this the inner critic, but it is more accurate to call it the inner saboteur because its job is not just to criticize. Its job is to keep you small. Stay small, stay safe. And here is the paradox that will reshape how you see yourself. Your inner saboteur is not your enemy. It is a protection mechanism. It formed during childhood as a way to keep you safe from rejection, failure, and emotional pain. If you made yourself smaller, you avoided the punishment. If you lowered your expectations, you avoided the disappointment. If you never fully tried, you never fully failed. Your saboteur is a child's strategy running in an adult's life. The problem is not that this mechanism exists. The problem is that it never got updated. You are 30, 40, 50 years old, and you are still running a protection program designed for a 7-year-old. An outdated operating system controlling a modern life. But your inner saboteur has a favorite weapon, and it is one you would never suspect. Most people think they are afraid of failure. They are wrong. The deeper fear, the one that actually drives self-sabotage, is the fear of success. Success. This sounds counterintuitive until you understand what success actually means to your unconscious mind. Success means visibility, and visibility means you can be judged, criticized, and rejected on a larger scale. Success means change, and change means leaving behind the familiar version of yourself and everyone who knew that version. Success means responsibility. And responsibility means more opportunities to fail publicly. 1. Success means being seen and judged. 2. Success means outgrowing people you love. 3. Success means higher stakes for failure. Psychologist Abraham Maslow wrote about this extensively. He called it the Jonah complex, named after the biblical prophet who ran away from his own calling. We fear our highest possibilities. We are generally afraid to become that which we can glimpse in our most perfect moments. You are not procrastinating because you are lazy. You are procrastinating because a part of you knows that if you actually finish, if you actually succeed, your entire life will change. And your brain is terrified of that change. Change equals danger. But there is another layer to this fear that almost nobody talks about, and it has to do with the people closest to you. This might be the most painful truth in this entire video. Sometimes you sabotage your success because succeeding would mean betraying the people you love. Family therapist Bert Hellinger discovered something remarkable. Children develop an unconscious loyalty to their family system, especially to the suffering of their parents. If your mother struggled financially, part of you believes that becoming wealthy would be a betrayal of her experience. If your father never achieved his dreams, part of you feels guilty for achieving yours. You unconsciously limit yourself to stay loyal to your family's level of pain. This is not rational, this is not logical, but it is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. You are chained to your family's suffering by invisible bonds of love. Think about the person in your life who struggled the most. Now ask yourself honestly, have you unconsciously made sure you never surpass them? Have you kept yourself just below their level of achievement, their level of happiness, their level of fulfillment? Your loyalty to their pain is destroying your potential. This is what therapists call survivor's guilt applied to success. And breaking free from it requires something most people are not willing to do. The greatest act of love is not to stay small for someone else, but to grow so you can lift them up. And this brings us to the most critical question of all. So how do you actually stop sabotaging yourself? The answer begins with one word: awareness. Awareness changes everything. Neuroscience has proven that the brain is not fixed, it is plastic. Neuroplasticity means you can literally rewire the neural pathways that have been running your self-defeating programs. But awareness alone is not enough. You need a systematic approach. The first step is pattern recognition. Start tracking your sabotage moments. When did you pull back? What triggered it? What were you feeling in your body? Journal these moments obsessively. You cannot change a pattern you cannot see. The second step is somatic awareness. Self-sabotage lives in the body, not just the mind. When you notice the urge to procrastinate, to pick a fight, to quit, stop and feel what is happening in your chest, your stomach, your throat. That sensation is your nervous system trying to pull you back to baseline. The moment you feel the pull backward is the exact moment growth is available. The third step is what psychologist Peter Levine calls titration. You do not override the fear. You expand your tolerance for discomfort in small, manageable doses. Stay in the uncomfortable success 5 minutes longer today, 10 minutes longer tomorrow. Train your nervous system that the unfamiliar will not kill you, but there is one final piece that makes all of this work. The final and most important step is updating your identity, not through affirmations, not through positive thinking, through evidence. Evidence-based identity. Every time you catch yourself sabotaging and choose differently, you are creating a new data point. Every time you sit with the discomfort of success instead of running from it, you are teaching your brain a new definition of safe. Every time you allow yourself to receive love, money, recognition, or joy without destroying it, you are rewriting the code that was installed when you were 5 years old. You do not become free by fighting the old program, you become free by writing a new one. This is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice. You will catch yourself reaching for the old patterns. You will notice the urge to shrink, to hide, to destroy what is working, and in that moment of noticing, you have a choice. The lock was never on the door, it was in your mind. Your brain was wired for survival. But you, the conscious you reading this right now, you can choose to wire it for something greater, not just survival, but a life that matches your actual potential. If you made it this far, comment rewired below to prove that you are ready to stop letting your unconscious run the show. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Welcome to the Psyche Project.